Imagine this: a quiet night, the mystical black sky shimmering with millions of stars. Suddenly, an unknown object appears. It hovers motionless in midair, then in the blink of an eye, shoots away at a speed far beyond all human understanding of physics. No sound, no turbulence, no sonic boom, only absolute silence and overwhelming astonishment remain. This isn't a scene from a science fiction movie. This is what hundreds, even thousands of people across the globe claim to have witnessed. From humble farmers and veteran pilots to high-ranking military officers, all tell of strange encounters with mysterious flying objects, known to the world simply as UFOs. But what if these stories aren't mere hallucinations? What if those bizarre flying objects truly exist? And what if, for decades, we have been silently observed by intelligences not of this earth? In today's video, we will peel back the veil of mystery that has shrouded these encounters for decades, unveiling some of the strangest, most terrifying, yet most compelling confrontations between humans and UFOs, from the legendary Roswell incident, the chilling events in Rendlesham Forest, to the shocking declassified videos released by the Pentagon. The encounters between humans and UFOs. We cannot talk about UFOs without mentioning Roswell, often regarded as the holy ground for those who believe in extraterrestrial life. In the summer of 1947, at a remote ranch near the town of Roswell, New Mexico, an event unfolded that would lay the foundation for the entire history of modern UFO research. A farmer named Mac Brazel, while inspecting his field after a violent storm, stumbled upon strange debris scattered across the area. Thin sheets of metal that were incredibly strong, some thread-like materials that were light yet fire-resistant, along with numerous fragments, unlike anything ever seen before. Mac Brazel immediately reported his discovery to the local authorities. Within hours, the U.S. military arrived at the scene and collected all the debris. Initially, the media reported that the military had recovered a flying disc. However, shortly afterward, the Air Force released a different statement. It was merely the wreckage of a fallen weather balloon. The story seemed to end there, but contradictions in testimonies and mysterious witnesses continued to fuel suspicion. Some former military personnel later revealed that they had seen not only metallic debris but also small, oddly shaped beings being transported in sealed containers. These accounts immediately ignited conspiracy theories suggesting that the U.S. government was hiding evidence of extraterrestrial life. In 1994, in an attempt to calm public speculation, the U.S. government announced that the Roswell incident was actually related to a top-secret program called Project Mogul, a project designed to monitor Soviet nuclear tests using high-altitude balloons equipped with sensitive recording devices. Yet, even this explanation failed to fully convince those who believe in the existence of UFO. Since then, the Roswell incident has become an immortal symbol in UFO culture, recreated in hundreds of films, books, and investigative reports. For many, Roswell is not merely an aircraft crash, but evidence that we have, at some point, made contact with extraterrestrial intelligence, whether the government chooses to admit it or not. The year 1947 was truly a fateful one in UFO history. Just weeks before the Roswell incident, another event sparked the entire modern flying saucer phenomenon: the encounter of pilot Kenneth Arnold. On June 24, 1947, Kenneth Arnold, a businessman and highly experienced civilian pilot, was flying his private aircraft near the Cascade Mountains in Washington state. The sky that day was clear, offering perfect visibility. While searching for a missing military transport plane, he suddenly spotted a formation of 9 strange objects flying across the sky. According to Arnold's account, these objects were moving at an astonishing speed, which he estimated to be over 2,000 kilometers per hour, far beyond the capabilities of any aircraft at the time. What was even stranger was the way they moved. He described them as flying like a saucer skipping across water, bouncing and dipping through the air instead of flying in a straight line, like conventional aircraft. It was this very description that led the media to use the term flying saucer for the first time to describe unidentified flying objects. From that moment on, the flying saucer became an enduring symbol of the UFO phenomenon for decades to come. Kenneth Arnold's encounter quickly became a national sensation. Newspapers across the United States reported the story widely, and military agencies promptly launched an investigation. However, no concrete evidence was ever found. No military radar at the time detected any unusual activity, which only deepened the mystery surrounding the incident. Many theories were proposed to explain Kenneth Arnold's experience: visual hallucinations, falling meteor fragments, or even reflections of sunlight off snowy mountain peaks. Yet, until the end of his life, Arnold stood firmly by his original account. He insisted that he was fully alert at the time of the sighting, and that what he saw was certainly not a product of his imagination. If the Roswell incident and Kenneth Arnold's encounter marked the beginning of the modern UFO era, then the case of Betty and Barney Hill signaled another milestone in UFO research. The first time humans publicly described being abducted and medically examined by extraterrestrial beings. In September 1961, Betty and Barney Hill were driving home after a vacation in Canada. As they traveled along a desolate road through the White Mountains of New Hampshire, they suddenly noticed a strange light in the sky following their car. At first, they assumed it was just a star or an airplane, but the light kept drawing closer, eventually hovering directly above their vehicle. Betty described the craft as a massive disc, approximately 25 to 30 meters in diameter, with a row of illuminated windows and something resembling a spinning fin or rotor at the back. Through binoculars, Barney even saw figures standing behind the windows, slender beings with unusually large heads. In that moment, both of them fell into a hazy, dreamlike state. When they regained awareness, they found that they had traveled over 50 kilometers, yet had no memory of what had happened during the nearly 2 hours that were unaccounted for. Strange phenomena continued to occur. Their watches had stopped, their clothes showed unusual stains and mysterious tears, and Betty began experiencing recurring nightmares about extraterrestrial beings. Under subsequent hypnosis, both recounted a terrifying experience. They were taken aboard an unidentified craft, where they underwent medical examinations using strange instruments. Betty vividly recalled being shown a star map by the leader, which some later claimed resembled the Zeta Reticuli star system, suspected by some to be the home of the so-called gray aliens. Although mainstream scientists argued that memories recovered under hypnosis could be the product of imagination or subconscious suggestion, the Hills' account was astonishingly detailed and consistent. They underwent independent psychological evaluations and were consistently deemed to be truthful. To this day, the case of Betty and Barney Hill remains the most famous instance of alien abduction. It sparked a global wave of similar abduction reports in the years that followed, and has served as the foundation for countless studies, films, and conspiracy theories that continue to this very day. For decades, the U.S. government maintained an ambiguous stance on the UFO phenomenon. However, a historic turning point came in 2017, when the New York Times unexpectedly released declassified videos from the U.S. Department of Defense. These videos, later known by code names such as Gimbal, GoFast, and Fleur 1, officially confirmed that the U.S. military had repeatedly encountered unidentified flying objects within controlled airspace. Among them, the Gimbal video was the most shocking. It was recorded by U.S. Navy fighter pilots in 2015, off the coast of Florida. In the footage, an elliptical object hovers in mid-air, rotating on its axis without any visible jet propulsion, control surfaces, or any form of thrust known to human technology. The pilots in the cockpit were astonished. Their conversations were recorded in real time. Not only did the object accelerate and maneuver with unimaginable agility, but it also completely disabled the advanced radar lock systems of America's most sophisticated fighter jets. According to aerodynamics experts, with such rotational speed, velocity, and sudden directional changes, any human pilot inside would have been killed instantly due to G-forces far beyond survivable limits. Eventually, even the Pentagon was forced to acknowledge these as evidence of unidentified aerial phenomena. UAP. In response, the government established its first official UFO investigative unit, known as the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office AARO. Once dismissed as mere superstition, the UFO phenomenon has now officially entered the agenda of the U.S. Senate, especially after the release of videos like Gimbal. Multiple public hearings have been held featuring former military and intelligence officials, some of whom have even declared, "We are not alone in this universe, and there are things the government is not yet ready to disclose." Since the Gimbal incident, the UFO story is no longer dismissed as mere imagination or blurry amateur footage. This is real data captured by advanced military sensor systems, and it challenges the very foundations of modern human physics. After decades of investigations, thousands of reports from around the world, and hundreds of hours of military footage, the UFO phenomenon remains filled with mysteries that humanity has yet to unravel. And the deeper we delve, the bigger the questions become. Not just does extraterrestrial life exist, but rather, how long have they been here? What is their purpose? And are we being continuously observed without even knowing it? In declassified documents from the United States, the United Kingdom, France, and even the former Soviet Union, numerous reports have surfaced from pilots, military officers, and air traffic controllers, individuals trained to accurately identify any flying object. They unanimously state, "We witnessed something beyond the capabilities of current human technology." Additionally, many abductees describe encountering greys, reptilians, or even beings of pure light, leading the scientific community to speculate about a level of extraterrestrial biodiversity far beyond our imagination. Some believe that multiple alien species may be observing Earth simultaneously, each with their own purposes and technologies. If extraterrestrial intelligence truly exists, it would trigger the greatest civilizational shock since humanity discovered that Earth is not the center of the universe. Religion, politics, science, and philosophy all would be forced to undergo profound shifts in their beliefs and understanding of life. Perhaps the quest for the truth about UFOs is not merely a search for extraterrestrial life. It is also a journey to discover our own identity, our place, and the purpose of humanity itself. And maybe, in the near future, that truth will gradually be unveiled as science continues to push the boundaries and as those who hold the final secrets can no longer keep silent. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please give me a like and subscribe to the channel to show your support. Thank you all so much.